Hello grade 7. In this video we'll discuss the angles relation, different angles relations. So first, we need to know two things about angles. What are these two things? If you have an angle like this, we have two things. The first one is the name of the angle, like we can call the name is angle 1. And the measure, the second one is the measure, it's in degree. We say that measure of angle 1 equal 30 degree. Another one, if you have another angle, this angle named x, and the measure is 80 degree. Then the measure, we say that measure, we write as this measure, m for measure, angle x equal 80 degree. Okay? And another one, this angle, let's say this angle also 1. When you see this corner, this small square, that means that the measure is 90 degree. So measure of angle 1 equal 90 degree. So let's move to the other to our lesson. First, angles relations of the straight line. What is the straight line? Straight line, like a line you draw by your ruler. And the theory says that the summation, if we have angle 1 and angle 2, the theory says the summation of the angles of the straight line on one side, like this side, the summation of these angles, two angles, equals 180. So if we have this angle is 30 degree, you can deduce that measure of angle 2 will be 180 minus 30, it will be 150 degree. It's very simple. Another one, you have a straight line like this, and you have an angle. We have a measure here of 80, angle x. What is the measure of angle x? Measure of angle x equal 180. Why 180? Because measure of angle x plus 80 equal 180. So measure of angle x alone will be 180 minus 80. It will be 100. Okay? Another one. Let's erase this line. We have straight line here and an angle and another angle. And guess what? This angle is right. So we have three angles on the straight line. This is angle 1 and this angle is 50 degree. So what is the measure of angle 1? You know that the measure of angle 1 plus 90, this angle is 90, and 50 is 180. So what is the measure of angle 1? Measure of angle 1 is the remaining of 90 plus 50 towards 180. So a measure of angle 1 will be equal 180 minus 90 plus 50 it will be 180 minus 140, it will be 40 degree. Okay, another concept to our lesson. Let's move. The another concept we have, which is the supplementary angles. Okay, what is the supplementary angles? The supplementary angles, it is the angles that the summation of their measures is equal 180. So if we have two angles 180 degrees, the measures they call to be supplementary. Why? Because 100 plus 80 equal 180, and supplementary means that the measure is 180. Okay, another one, if you have an angle of measure 60 degree, it supplements an angle of measure what? Supplements mean that this the other angle plus the first one, their summation is 180. One is 60, the other will be 180 minus 60, it will be 120, and that's it. If you have an angle of measure 70 degree, what its supplementary angle? Supplementary angle is 110 degree. Why? 181 minus 70, and that's it. If you have an angle of measure 52 degree, what's its supplementary angle? It will be 180 minus 52, it will be 10 minus 2 is 8, it will be 7 because we borrowed 1 from 8, 7 minus 5 is 2, and 1 minus 0, so we have 128 degree. Okay, it's clear now. Now moving to another side, another concept, which is the angles relations of triangle. First, in any triangle we have how many angles? We have 3 angles: angle 1, angle 2, angle 3. And these 3 angles we call it interior angles. Each angle of this angle is called interior angles. So angle 1, angle 2, angle 3 are interior angles. Why? Because they are inside the triangle. The theory says the summation of all interior angles of any triangle is equal 180. So in any triangle, measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 2 plus measure of angle 3 will equal 180. And this is the third 180 we have in this lesson. The first one was the sum of measures of all angles on one side in straight line is 180. The summation of supplementary angles is 180. And the third one, it is the summation of all interior angles of any triangle is 180. So if we have a triangle like this, and this angle is 50 and this angle is 60, we need to know the measure of angle 1. Measure of angle 1 equal 180 minus 50 plus 60. Why? Because the three angles, the measure of these three angles is 180. Two of them, we know two of them. Two of them is 110. So the third will be 180 minus 110. It will be 70 degree. Okay, let's move another question. If you have a triangle which is obtuse, you know that's obtuse angle triangle, okay? This angle is 120, this angle is 20, angle x. Measure of angle x equal what? Measure of angle x equal 180. Why 180? Because the measures of all interior angles of the triangle is 180 minus 20 degree plus 100 degree, and it will be 180 minus 140. It will be 40 degree. Okay, that's a measure of angle x. Try the next one yourself. Okay, you have a right angle triangle and this angle is 40 degree. Let's erase this writing. This angle is 40 degree and this angle is right. What is the measure of angle 1? What is the measure of angle 1? This corner means that this angle is 90 degree. So measure of angle 1 equal 180 minus 90 plus 40 degree. It will be 180 minus 130 degree. That will be 50 degree. Okay, let's make it a bit harder. If you have a triangle and one angle of it is 50, and I tell you that this angle is equal to this angle. This sign, these two signs mean, this dot and this dot mean that two angles are equal, and we call it one of them angle x. What is the measure of angle x? Measure, let's call it angle y. Angle x, measure of angle x plus measure of angle y equal 180 minus 50. It will be 130. That's the measure of angle x plus angle y. What is the measure of angle x? Because measure of angle x equal measure of angle y, then measure of angle x will be half. Will be 130 divided 2. Will be 65 degree. Another one. Now you have some mysterious one. What it? This. I give you 3 dots. And this angle is angle x. What is the measure of angle x? You don't have any measures. You have only info. One info, that's all angles are equal in measure. Let's call it angle y, angle z, measure of angle y, plus measure of angle x, plus measure of angle z, equal 180. Because they are equal, three angles are equal, then one of them is third 180. So measure of angle x equal 180 divided 3, it will be 60 degree. Okay, now moving to the one before the last, which is the exterior angle. What is the exterior angle? Let's make our title the exterior angle of that triangle. The exterior angle of the triangle. What is the exterior angle? Let's see. We know that any triangle has only three interior angles. Three interior angles, and this sign, this different sign, means this all three angles are different measure. Let's see if we extended this line. Okay, then the angle between the extension, this extension, and this side is called an exterior angle. Let's say it, name it angle x. Let's name this angle angle 1, angle 2, angle 3. In the straight line, measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle x equal 180. Why? Because this is a straight line, two angles on the straight line. And measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 2 plus measure of angle 3 equal 180. Why? Because they are interior angles in one triangle, 1 and 2 and 3. So these two angles equal 180, and these three angles is equal 180. So these two angles is equal to these three angles. So measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle x equal measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 2 plus measure of angle 3. If I tell you 2 plus x equal 2 plus 5, how can you get 2? How can you get x? Simply, you can say that 2 plus x equal 2 plus 5, that we have the same 2 in the same size. We can cancel 2 with 2. Then x will be 5. The same, we have measure of angle 1 and measure of angle 1 is the same angle, the same measure, so you can cancel each other. So the measure of angle x equal the measure of angle 2 plus measure of angle 3. And if you look closely to this relation, you will get this. You will get that angle x, exterior angle, and angle 2 and angle 3 is an interior angles, but they are not adjacent to angle x. What's the meaning of adjacent? Adjacent means beside. The angle beside or adjacent to angle x is angle 1. But angle 2 and angle 3 is not adjacent to angle 3. So the theory now is any exterior angle of any triangle equals the summation of two interior angles not adjacent to it. Not adjacent to it. So angle x here is equal the measure of two angles far away from it. The far two angles. We took consideration the far two angles, whatever they names. We took the two angles that not adjacent to it. Okay, let's take an example. If you have a triangle, and you have straight line, this angle is 50, and this angle is 70. How much is angle 1? Angle 1 is an exterior. It equals the summation of two interior angles far away from it. So measure of angle 1 will be 70 plus 50. It will be 120. And you can get measure of angle 1 by another way, which is, if you call it, this is the third angle in the triangle, angle x. Measure of angles x equal what? Measure of angle x equal 180 minus 120. Why 120? Because 50 plus 70 is 120. So measure of angle x is 60. And measure of angle x plus measure of angle 1 is 180. Measure of angle x is 60. So measure of angle 1 will be 120. Okay? Okay, it's simple now. Now try another one. We have a triangle and this angle x, this measure is 20, this is 30, make 30 inside, okay, as we agreed to do. So measure of angle x equal what? Measure of angle x, it is an exterior, equals the two interior angles far away, not adjacent to it, which are 20 plus 30. It will be 50 degree. Now, what if I give you the exterior angle? I'll give you the exterior angle, and I want you to get one of the interior angles, like this. This angle is 140. Okay, and this angle is 60, angle x. What is the measure of angle x? You know that 140 is an exterior angle, and it's equal measure of angle x plus 60. Using simple equations techniques, measure of angle x, send 60 to the other side by subtraction. Why subtraction? Because we have addition. Will be 140 minus 60. It will be 80 degree. Another one, and it is we have two last ones, which are this angle is 140, and this angle is equal to this angle, angle 1. I want to know the measure of angle 1. Because the two interior angles are equal, then measure of angle 1 will be 140 divided 2 will be 70 degree. This is very simple. The two angles are equal, and their summation is 140. Then one of them is half the 140, then will be 70. Now, the last tough one. What is the measure of angle 1? This is a triangle, and all interior angles are equal. Then the summation of all interior angles will be 180. Let's call it angle 2 and angle 3. Let's say measure of angle 2 equal what? 180 divided 3. Why 3? Because the all interior angles this triangle are equal. Then measure of angle 2 will be 60. And measure of angle 2 is equal to measure of angle 3. This measure of angle 3 is equal also 60. So measure of angle 1 will be 60 plus 60. It will be 120. You can get it from another way if you call it measure of this angle x. Measure of angle x will be 180 plus 3 over 3. It will be 60 degree. And measure of angle 1 and angle x is on a straight line. The summation is 180. One is 60. Then the other will be 120. It's very simple. Okay, let's move to another one. Now, the last concept in our session, which is angles, relations of parallel lines. What are the parallel lines? The parallel lines that don't intersect or don't meet. Like, let's erase this line. Like these two lines, line M, line M. If I put these two arrows, that's mean line M parallel to line M, and this sign above the letter means straight line. Now, if we have a horizontal line, like this, and we have an inclined line with the horizontal like this, and if I tell you that this angle is 60 degree, okay, the line between the inclined angle and the horizontal one is 60 degree. Let's make it line M, line O. If we draw another straight line parallel to line M, we call it, and we give it a name, line N. Okay, line N parallel to line M. What do you expect about this angle? This angle is have the same inclination with line O, so it will be 60 degree. Okay, if you looked closely to these angles, they are making letter F. And any two angles making letter F, they are equal in measure. Any position of letter F, like if you have this letter F, this sign, this angle is equal to this angle. If we have letter F like this, where is the equal angles? This angle is equal to this angle. Okay, this position of letter F is called corresponding angles. So any corresponding angles are equal in measure. Let's see some examples. It's a very simple example. This angle is 70 degree, and this angle X. What is the measure of angle X? Simply they are making F, a letter F. Measure of angle X will be 70 degree. What if I want you to tell me the measure of angle Y? Measure of angle Y equal what? Measure of angle X and measure of angle Y equal 180. Why? Because they are in a straight line. So one of them is 70, so the other will be 110. Another problem. (110) angle 1, angle 2. Measure of angle 1 equal what? 110. Measure of angle 2 equal what? So we forget the parallel signs. Measure of angle 2 equal what? Equal 70 degree. Okay. Now we have to know about the alternative angle. What is the alternative angle? Alternative angle is the position of the angles between the straight lines making letter, for example, Z. Measure of angle 1 equal measure of angle 2, and they called alternative angles. Or inverse Z like this. Angle X, angle Y. Measure of angle X equal measure of angle Y. Or letter M, letter N. Letter N. Angle 1, angle 2, measure of angle 1 equal measure of angle 2. Why? Because there are alternatives. Or reversed N like this. And this line is parallel to this line. Measure two angles. These two angles are equals. Okay, so if we have two lines like this, and this two lines are parallel, one angle is 50 degree, so measure of angle 1 will be 50 degree. Okay, let's take a tough example about let's make the interior and the alternative angles and the corresponding angles and the exterior angles and the angle of the triangle together in one example. A triangle, and we have a straight line, and we have an exterior angle, angle X. This angle is 50 degree. And this angle is 60 degree. What is the measure of angle X? Let's name this angle angle Y. Measure of angle X, because it is exterior, it is equal the measure of two interior angles of the triangle which are not adjacent to it. They are 60 degree plus measure of angle Y. What is the measure of angle Y? If you look closely, measure of angle Y and angle 50 makes a Z ladder. They are alternative angles between two parallel lines. So measure of angle Y will be 50 degree. So measure of angle X will be 60 degree. Measure of angle Y will be 50 degree. It will be 110. 110 degree. Okay, that's it for our session. I'll leave this document in the description. You can download it and revise it any time you want. Thank you for watching. Enough for now. See you next time. Bye.